Okay. Lesson 5.5 is our last, not last lesson. Don't think I'm saying that. It's our last equation of a line. We did slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. We did point slope, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And today we're talking about standard form. Standard form right here, ax plus by equals c. Notice it says a, b, and c are integers, so they're numbers. Okay, do I maybe need to say integers? When we talk about integers, they are numbers, but they're not fractions, they're not decimals. So they are positive or negative whole numbers. Okay, and officially, I don't know if I hear that so much anymore. They usually say they want a to be a positive value, but it can also sometimes be negative here. Now, two basic things. One, standard form is great for finding x and y intercepts, which is an easy way to graph. And then the other thing we're going to practice is just how to get a line in standard form. So, what do I mean when it says find x and y intercepts? I don't expect you to know how to find x and y intercepts, but what are x and y intercepts? What's your graph doing?
Crossing.
Crossing. What do you mean? I think you're heading in the right direction, but if it's an x-intercept, the graph is crossing the x-axis.
Yeah.
If it's a y-intercept, the graph is crossing the y-axis, right? Now, when our graph crosses the x-axis or y-axis, there's one number that's always involved. 0, right? If you're on the x-axis, y has to be 0 because we don't go up and down. If you're on the y-axis, then x is 0 because you don't go left or right. So in order to find x and y intercepts, we use zeros. Okay? We use zeros. It's an easy thing. You take a 0 and put it in for the opposite variable of what you want to find. So if I want to find my x-intercept, I'm going to take 0 and put it in for y. So let's do that first. In order to find the x-intercept, I'm going to take this equation, and I'm going to replace y with 0. So are we following along?
Yeah, I guess.
If I replace y with 0, I'm going to rewrite this out as 3x plus 8 times, what did I say I wanted y to be? 0 equals 12. So in order to find the x-intercept, I put 0 in for y. Okay? Do the math with me. 8 times 0. 0. So 8 times 0 is 0, which means if 8 times 0 is 0, it's going to be gone, right? Do I need to write 3x plus 0? No. So I'm just going to have 3x equals 12. Okay, guys, you all know how to do this step.
Oh, bro, you just divide.
We're going to divide by 3. If it's 3 times x, we divide by 3. 3x divided by 3 is x. 12 divided by 3?
4.
4. So guess what we just found? That is our x-intercept. Because it says x equals 4, and we got it from putting in 0 for y, that is our x-intercept. Now what?
Find y-intercept.
Find the y-intercept. Okay, think with me. To find x, I put 0 in for y. How am I going to find y?
Put 4.
No. What number do I always have to use for intercepts?
0.
0. So in order to find my y-intercept, we're putting 0 in for x. So now I'm going to say 3, instead of 3x, it's going to be 3 times 0 plus 8y equals 12. What is 3 times 0?
0.
0. So that's gone, leaving me with
8y, so you divide by
8y equals 12, because 3 times 0 is 0, that's gone. If it's 8y equals 12, if it's 8 times y, we are going to divide by 8. Y equals, it's 12 divided by 8. Well, it's not a whole number, so I mean, I don't blame you for grabbing the calculator.
12.5.
Okay, so 12 over 8 could work, but it's not reduced. It would reduce to 3 halves, which is equivalent to 1.5. Okay, so I know how you guys love your calculators in here, so I'm going to say 1.5. It's the truth, right? And what is this I just found? The y-intercept.
So it'd be 4.
Okay, so we have an x-intercept of 4, a y-intercept of 1.5. Let's go ahead and graph it. Because the problem down below is to graph this using x and y-intercepts. So let's go ahead and graph it. I've already got my x-axis and y-axis labeled. We had an x-intercept of 4.
So you go, so this is like 4.
Go where?
Up.
Where's the x-axis?
Oh, go over 4.
We're going to go over 4 on the x-axis because it is an x-intercept. Okay, so x-intercept, we go to 4 on the x-axis. We have a y-intercept of what? 1.5.
So you go up 1 over 5.
Okay, it's going to be a positive 1.5 on the y-axis, so it is up. And you're going up 1.5 boxes. So go up 1, and I'm going to land between 1 and 2. And guess what we can do with those 2 dots? Connect them and make a line. I need to get a ruler I can use on the BenQ. But the problem is if I put a ruler against the BenQ, it marks on the BenQ. There's got to be something out there that, I don't know, because that line wasn't bad, but I'm used to using a ruler.
There's no, nothing, like, button-wise.
I don't think so. Because I'm just on a drawing screen right now, so. Okay. You guys ready to try the next example now? Piece of cake after that one, right? Okay, guys, look back at the last example. How did we find the x-intercept? Put a 0 in for y. So this time I'm going to do 4x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. Okay. 3 times 0 is 0. Then I'm left with 4x equals 12. Divide by 4.
12
12 divided by 4 is 3. I have x equals 3. That's kind of my hint. X equals that this is my x-intercept. Then, how do I find my y-intercept?
0 in for x.
Good. You catch it on. Put the 0 in for x. So this time, 4 times 0 minus 3y equals 12. I know, tough math here. 4 times 0?
0. Of course not.
0. If it's negative 3y equals 12.
If we don't
Use
divide.
Divide by the negative 3. And 12 divided by negative 3 is? Check again. Negative 4. Right. Please stop. Okay. Y-intercept of negative 4. Okay, try graphing them.
No, he said y, so x equals 3, right? So you go to the 3.
So x equals 3. X-intercept of 3. Where do I go?
X in over 3.
Over right.
Okay. So x-intercept, we're going to go over a positive 3, so right 3.
And then on the y, you go down 4.
Y-intercept is negative 4.
Oh, yes, you go down 4.
It's up or down.
Down.
Negative says we're going to go down. Okay. So x-intercept, we went right 3. Y-intercept, I went down 4. And
You draw the line. You draw your triangle.
I don't know. This angle is, this line is a bad angle for me. Ugh.
Oh, I think it's actually starting to draw a triangle. I was like, what?
No, I couldn't draw the line. I had to erase it and try again, and it's still not great, but it's
When you
not
went to
bad.
go do the top arrow, it looked like he was meant to circle in that way. It was like,
Okay, well, I can continue the triangle for you.
these are some weird triangles.
Okay. Ready for the next part?
Sure.
It is more graphs, but they're easy graphs.
They sure do think about these guys being not really.
Okay, well, forget I asked. We're moving on. Sorry, I'm going to be rough.
No question. But no questions.
Graphing horizontal and vertical lines. So there's your hint right there. But if we're going to graph the line, notice these are lines here, right? X equals 4.
You need a Y.
Okay? But there is no y. Well, here's the deal. There's no y in the equation, so y can be anything you want. But what do we know x has to be?
4.
Right. X has to be 4, which actually what we know then is that the x-intercept, since we're talking about intercepts today, the x-intercept is 4. Since it says x equals 4, x-intercept is 4. Now, if there's no y, what's that mean about the y-intercept?
0,
Not a 0.
1.
No. If there's no y in the problem, then there's no y-intercept. Now, 0 is a number. 0 is a point on my graph. I don't want to say 0. I'm going to say nothing. So how do I draw a line that crosses through the x-axis at 4 and never touches the y-intercept or the y-axis?
Straight up and down.
If you think about it here, okay, here guys, I didn't put them on there. There's x-axis and y-axis. How do we never touch the y-axis?
Because we're not even.
You're parallel, right? You're never going to touch the y-axis if you're parallel to it. And so if we're going to touch x equals 4, we're going to be parallel to the y-axis, which means this is an example of a vertical line. What about the next one?
It's just gonna be
Horizontal?
right.
So what do we know about this next one?
It's gonna be -2, y times 2.
Oh,
Negative 2.
Okay, so this time, because it says y equals -2, and that's the only thing there, y-intercept is -2. What's my x-intercept?
1.
There is none. There's no x in the problem, so this will never touch the x-axis. So that means we have to run parallel to the x-axis. So I'm going to cross through y equals -2, so right there. And there we go. Okay.
y plus b.
Hmm?
Y equals
Are you looking at the next part? Or we're going to talk about standard form? Okay, so those graphs are pretty easy. I'll be honest though, they tend to be a harder graph because we always forget what to do. So as long as we try not to forget what to do here, this should be an easy graph. The problem is we always forget. Now, one last section. Write these in standard form using integers. Okay, look up at the top of your paper. What's standard form?
ax plus by
Ax plus by equals c. He didn't just make that up, did he?
no.
Right here at the top of the paper, yes? Just saying. Now, when they want the equation in standard form, the idea is we want x's and y's on the same side, plain numbers on the other side. We want no fractions or decimals. So x's and y's together, regular numbers away, no fractions, no decimals. Well, look at the first problem, y equals 1/2 x plus 3.
fraction.
It's got a fraction. Okay? I want to get rid of that fraction. What's my denominator of my fraction?
2.
2. How do I get rid of a denominator of 2? What? I think you said it.
Times by 2.
Okay, times by 2? Sorry, I was just struggling to hear you. Okay. Because it's dividing by 2, we want to multiply by 2. Now, if I multiply by 2, keep in mind we're multiplying everybody by 2. Okay? Okay, don't make this up. What is 2 times y?
2y.
2 times y, 2y. Now, the 2 on the other side, remember when you're multiplying by 2, you need to distribute. When we do 2 times 1/2, what is half of 2? 1. So this is going to be 1x, and then 2 times 3 is plus 6. Okay. Got my fractions gone. Now I just need x and y on the same side.
See,
Are my x's and y's together?
subtract that. Six.
Okay. Oh, I think yet. If we already have y over here, how can I get x to join the y? Okay, subtract the 1x. Because it's a positive 1x, I'm going to subtract 1x. Yep. Now, 2y minus 1x.
That's 2
It's going to be 2y minus 1x.
2y minus 1x is 2y minus 1x. 1x minus 1x will cancel.
There you go.
Now, standard form is ax plus by equals c. I would take this. Officially, if you want to put the x term first, you can put the negative 1x first, and then the positive 2y equals 6. I would take this. I think the current book takes it. Sometimes the book doesn't always take this. The other option to consider is if you don't want a negative x, you can multiply by negative x, basically change all your signs, and you could say, or positive 1x minus 2y equals negative 6. So if all your signs are exactly different, that is equivalent. Okay, guys. One more. Can we do it? I lost Jason. Y minus 10 equals negative 2 times x minus 1. Parentheses. How do we deal with parentheses?
Distribute.
Take the negative 2 and distribute. So y minus 10 stays y minus 10.
Equals negative 2x.
Yep. Negative 2x is negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times minus 1 plus 2. Negative 2 times a negative 1 is how I treat it. Now, good news is there's no fractions this time, are there?
Nope.
It's just about, are you clapping for no fractions? Okay. It's just about how we move this stuff around. And we get x and y on one side, plain numbers on the other side.
Add negative 2x to y minus 10.
Okay. Now, when we say, don't say add negative 2x. The opposite of a negative 2x is a positive 2x. So we're going to add 2x. Now, when we add 2x on the left,
Do it on the right.
we do it on the right, but there's no other x's over there, is there?
No.
So I'm just going to put it out, I'm going to put it out front, if you don't mind, and say 2x plus y minus 10 equals 2. Because my negative 2x and plus 2x cancel. Am I done? Do I have x term plus y term equals number term? No, almost. What number term needs to move?
Negative 10.
Minus 10. How do I move a minus 10?
Add.
We add 10. So what do we have?
2x plus y equals 12.
2x plus y equals 12. Okay. You have 12 minutes, 13 minutes. Get the iPads out. See if you can get logged into Math Excel.
So what I was at like 50%.